Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bauchi in Nigeria. Every state of Nigeria has a nickname, and Bauchi's is the Pearl of Tourism. Now, why is that? What is there in the state that makes it the Pearl of Tourism? It is, 99% of it is right here. You can see Yankari National Park, which is one of those, what I consider to be a very typical African national park, where, picture wild safari and jungle and creatures and plants, all of the wonderful things that make African wildernesses wonderful. You can find here in Yankari. Now, technically, Yankari is no longer a national park. I think it's now officially Yankari Game Reserve, but it's treated like a national park still, and almost every source I was reading about it still called it national park or even just a park. So I think it's either or. Yankari National Park does have forest elephants, which I think are really fascinating elephants. And because of that, tonight we will have a guest feature from TOPPLE. Oh my gosh, TOPPLE the ASMR elephant. TOPPLE got his name because he always falls off the desk. He always topples over, and even today I was like, I gotta get TOPPLE to film, and he was on the ground where he likes to be, so he's still kind of dusty. But he is a very relaxing little elephant, and I know recently times have been a little stressful for my fellow American viewers, and we all need a little bit of extra relaxation after a very long and exhausting election cycle. So for you guys, we'll have a long TOPPLE time at the end of the video. So be sure to stick around for that. If you've never heard TOPPLE's amazing sounds, then you have to stick around, okay? So yes, Yankari National Park. The rest of Bauchi State pretty much has two different, I suppose, biomes, or just natural distinctions between this northern area and southern area. Up here in the north, we are technically in the Sahel, which is the zone of Africa between the Sahara and the rainforest jungle-y part of Africa, like Central Africa, Congo, so on and so forth. The Sahel is in the middle, so it's like a desert, like the Sahara, but also very lush and full of wildlife, like the interior rainforests. It has a semi-desert plant life, vegetation, that's what I'm thinking of. And it's pretty much almost this entire northern section up here. The southern section is what's called the Sudan Savannah, which is kind of a typical, when you think savanna, lots of rich plant life, lots of flowing rivers crisscrossing. You can see right here, this is the Gongola River flowing through here, actually up in the north, and then down through here. That's the Katagum River, but it flows very strong down here. You can see Katagum's right there, but it's much wetter than the northern part of the state. And a very prominent geographic aspect of not just the state but of Nigeria is the Jos Plateau, which you can see Jos is right here in Plateau State. It's pretty much all right here, so really only this chunk of Bauchi State is within that plateau region, but still important to mention, of course. And here you can see the capital city of Bauchi. And most of the state is very agrarian, lots of crops and cattle. whereas in the city it's quite industrialized. So you kind of get the best of both worlds in terms of economy, which is always great to have multiple sources of income. I'm trying to think, what else do I need to mention? I think that was it. I think that was all the geography I needed to mention. Many, many rivers. Very lush down here. I'll even show you on Google Earth later. You can see that this area is brown, this area is green. It's very distinct. So let's talk about this plateau region, because this is where the history of this state begins. So most of northern Nigeria historically has been home to primarily Muslim people, primarily Hausa peoples, but many other ethnic groups. So yeah, that's still true today. Most of northern Nigeria is predominantly Muslim. And in the very early 1800s, like 1801, 1800s, the Sokoto Caliphate nearby was expanding and realized that the people living in this plateau region were not Muslim. And according to their rules, that means that they could capture their land and enslave the people. And thus began the Fulani Jihad, which was when this region went just from very small, almost like hunter-gatherer, basic farming communities, to something much bigger, as it was absorbed into the Sokoto Caliphate by a general named Yakubu. Another source I read called him Yaqub ibn Dadi. He was a general under Usman Dan Fodio, very prominent figure at this time. And he created within the Sokoto Caliphate the Bauchi Empire, Bauchi Emirate. It's probably more accurate. In 1809, let me check my notes. Yeah, 1809, he founded the town of Bauchi, and it was named after a hunter that he came across, and the hunter pointed out the best place for him to establish a town. And to thank that hunter, he said, "I'll name this town after you," and that's how we get the name. And it was the capital of the emirate for quite a while. It relocated in the 1870s, I want to say. But that would change in 1809 when the emirate was absorbed by the British Empire, ever expanding further north up Nigeria. The emirate had a lot of internal struggles. They had had some expansion successes and failures, and it was just the perfect opportunity for the British to strike and take advantage of a weak time in the emirate's history to make it part of their colony. And of course, just like the rest of Nigeria, that would all change at independence. And who would lead Nigeria's independence? The first and only Prime Minister of Nigeria was named Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. And guess where he was from? He was from Bauchi. And that actually led to some turmoil because, like I said, pretty much all of northern Nigeria is very heavily Muslim. The south down here is primarily Christian, and the southeast over here was a mix and a lot more traditional religions as well. It would lead to decades of conflict in Nigeria, just these cultures clashing. And after a coup in the government, Tafawa Balewa was kidnapped and found on the side of the road 6 days later, which, what a horrible way to go for anyone, I think, much less the leader of the country. Imagine stumbling upon that. ugh, I don't like to think about it. But he is enshrined here in Bauchi, and I will show that to you on Google Earth. And almost everything is named Tafawa Balewa. I think there's even a town nearby called Tafawa Balewa. But like the airport here, like everything is named after him. Pretty much just the rest of the history of the state was actually created in 1976. This region was originally called Northeastern State, made up of Gombe. What was the other one? I think it was Chicago. I think so. They split them up, and that's when Bauchi State was created. I tried finding some more current events, and I really couldn't, which is always a good thing. You know, of course, there's news here and there, but anything like significant world-changing, not really. And that's wonderful, because Nigeria has seen its fair share of conflict in its history and a bit of unrest in the last decade or so in some parts. And I really couldn't find any of that in Bauchi. Any Nigerian viewers want to contradict that, please do, because I really did look. I didn't find anything. So that's great. We love to see that. What we also love to see is Google Earth. So let's transition over to the tablet and take a look at some of the sites around Bauchi State. Here we are in Bauchi, Nigeria. Let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the African continent. We are technically in West Africa, but it's almost like Central West Africa, right? Because here's Central Africa. We're awfully close to Central Africa, but Nigeria has always been considered a West African country. So you can see all the other nations of West Africa over here. This is almost like considered North Africa. Whoops. Where are we going? Let's stay here, please. So you can really see where the Sahel lies and where all of the lush green lies here in Central Africa, right? So we are in the middle of that zone. So you can see if we look up close to the north, you can see that, you know, it's not the desert, but it is very dry. You can only really see some green around the major rivers here. And then when we head further south, you can see just how much greener it gets, right? It's no thick rainforest, but it's much greener. And you can see, zoom out so you can see the reserve right there. Look how deep green that is because it is untouched. So yes, very stark contrast. Can you see the difference? You can see the green here and the brown here. Both beautiful regions in their own way. Let's head into Bauchi to show you some sights. So first we have to look at, do I have everything on? I think I need everything on for this to pull up. Yeah, I think I do. No, I have everything on because there's grocery stores appearing. There it is. The Emir's Palace, which just because it was absorbed by the British Empire in 1902 doesn't mean it ceased to exist. In fact, it's still very much around today. And there is the Emir of Bauchi. It's a great color. I love that color. It's almost like the green in my nails, but you can't see it now because the lights are off. And look how decorated the horse is. Look at this like cloak all embroidered beautifully. There you can see from it looks like a mosque. Here's the palace right here. Big crowd in front. Maybe there's a parade or a festival or something. These people are dressed up for it. Beautiful painting. Isn't that gorgeous? All those details and patterns. Yeah. Fantastic. I love how the colors on the horses matches the colors of their costume. Oh, they're doing something there with these rifles. Maybe some kind of dance or ritual or something. But yeah, pretty swaggy. Yeah, I love the decorations on the horses. It's so amazing. Wow. I love it. That's so cool. And further up here, oh gosh, there it is. The tomb of Nigeria's first prime minister. And this is a beautiful building also. Isn't that lovely? All of the little drawings and symbols there. Beautiful. And it's like modern art along with it. There's many memorials. And here is his tomb with rocks placed lovingly on top. You can see Abu Bakr, Tafawa, Balewa, 1912-1966. Yeah, a place of great reverence. People can come and pay their respects to the country's first prime minister. And there's a little museum about him here. Yeah, he was in charge of Nigeria at independence, and that's a big deal, you know. Even if you're not the greatest leader in the world, still being in charge of the country at such a significant time in history is always very important, right? These people are taking a nice group photo there at the reception area. But yeah, there are lots of little neat market areas. There's beautiful gates along the main roads here. There's lots to look at, so I would recommend you playing around and exploring the city for yourself. Those are just my favorite spots that I definitely wanted to show you. Let me see. I think, was it this one didn't have pictures? Oh no, oh that's right. It's just selfies, which is unfortunate for this big area here. But we're gonna go to the main event and check out the Yankari Park, or here it says game reserve. Technically, see it says right here, former national park. I tried to figure out why it got downgraded, but I couldn't. So again, if any Nigerian viewers can tell me, like, oh, that's beautiful. Like, do they allow, like, hunting seasons here? Oh my gosh, that looks fantastic. I did read about how there was a hot spring in this park, so I'm guessing this is it. I was trying to find pictures of it, but there we go. There's the Wiki Warm Spring. There it is. Oh my gosh. You have no idea how I struggled to find pictures of the hot spring. There were monkey butts. Monkey butts. Oh, that's sweet. Those baboons, right? But yeah, did I see this slideshow when I first researched? I don't think I did. That's perfect. Because, like, I guess I'll just leave out the part about the hot spring because I couldn't find it. Lo and behold, there it was. Just as surprised as this deer. Oh my goodness, that baboon is on top of their car. And they're like, oh, what do we do? How great. Yeah, parks like this are such a treasure to the world. What slideshow did I look at before? There were a couple in here. Maybe it was this one? Oh no, that one just has one picture, and it's also of the hot spring. Oh, that was different. I started researching this place like a week ago, and I don't remember those pictures being there. There's more pictures of, like, the forest and things. Look how lush it is along the river here. Incredible. Maybe it was this one. Oh, this is like the same slideshow. It is. Someone had a new, let me see. Hold on. Does it say when these pictures were taken? Like this one. 2022. I don't remember. Maybe I'm just completely, like, just forgetting what I saw before because I don't remember seeing that picture. But there you go. There's a natural hot spring right in the center of the park, and now you've seen it. I was combing here because this is where it's at. I was going along like, where is it? Where is it? I couldn't find it. It's telling me it was over here. Like, where is it? There it was. Perfect. Sometimes things always work out. What was that? Oh yeah. Great tag there, but there's no pictures associated with that tag. At least when I researched, there wasn't. Here's Tafawa Balewa. There's only one picture. Yeah, unfortunately, the rest of the state doesn't have a lot of pictures. What was it? It wasn't Adamawa. What state was it that it had like no pictures at all? What was that one? It can't have been Adamawa. I don't remember. Definitely it was one of the states starting with A. But yeah. Let's see if we can find any pictures up here. I was looking around and couldn't really find any. Let's look at some of these towns. Nope. Nope. Yep. Nigeria is really hit or miss on Google Earth. Yep. Nothing. How about along the river here? Oop, we're on the border. I gotta be careful. But yeah, I guess you can imagine what this hell looks like. Or maybe if you poke around yourself, you can find a cool slideshow and you can let me know down in the comments. Because I don't see any. Yeah, so I'm going to end it here for tonight then. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing, as this is an ongoing series on my channel, and next we're going to be heading over to Latvia, and I'm going to show you some beautiful castles in this region of Latvia. Some are fallen apart, and I'll tell you why and how they fell apart, and some are much more modern and are gorgeous, like Versailles level of gorgeous. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I'm going to turn the video over to TOPPLE to give you some extra tingles, but don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know any cool facts you learned down in the comments. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night.